once again, RPGaDay number 5 retro, actively going back and answering the questions I've missed. The question for this video is, what RPG cover captures the spirit of the game? I find it interesting how they worded that. Cover, not just cover art, but the entire cover. I don't know if that's intentional or they were just trying to cut back on the words of the question so it would fit in the graphic. I'll be honest that I haven't not paid as much attention to covers in the most recent games. I guess I qualify as an old school gamer, although I never really played first edition D&D, but I played a lot of games that came out in the 80s and 90s, and I was happy with those. I have 3 answers for this question that I feel are good answers, but most of them, all of them are older games. One of them still being published. Probably, I think they're up to 6th edition. The other one just got a new publisher and will be, I think, kickstarted. The other one is kind of in flux right now. But I not to be negative, as this whole discussion is not meant to be. I'm not meant to be negative, but I haven't really been overly impressed with the art in recent, at least since 4th edition D&D. I really liked D&D 3rd edition, and that's not one of my answers. I just like the old spellbook look to them. I always love that. So that's an honorable mention, I guess we can say. But the first game that I really remember looking at, seeing that cover and how it was designed, and saying, wow, that really does capture the spirit of the game. And it's iconic now, is Shadowrun when it first came out, 1st edition, and I think they reused that cover art for 2nd and maybe even 3rd. I don't know if they've changed over to a new cover or not by now, but that first Larry Elmore cover art blew me away, and it really captured the essence of the game, and I've always loved it. And around the same time, he did the art for another role-playing game, which is my second answer, and that one is Dark Conspiracy. Both games have a similar theme. One is fantasy meets cyberpunk future in Shadowrun. The other is dark future, or dark near future meets horror. Both of them, although similar in theme, the art was so fantastically done. It just you knew and recognized what it was and what it was for, and you could see a story. It told a story. Told the story in the game setting. You wanted to just be those people in that picture. Many kudos to the master himself, Larry Elmore, and what he has done for gaming. Of course, he was early on D&D art, Dragonlance, etc. But these 2 covers just were it. The other one, I don't know the artist. It could be Larry Elmore for all I know, and I didn't research this ahead of time because I made a last-minute decision to add this in there. Was the original cover art for Star Frontiers. Now that I think about it, this may be another Larry Elmore cover. But I'll go back and check, and I'll put it on this video. I mean, that's what drew me into the game in the first place, was the cover, the cover art, the fonts, all that. It captured the essence of a science fiction adventure game that needed little explanation, needed little meat to its bones. You just ran with it and go. Here are 4 awesome alien races, and the bad guys are these worms, and you have a small amount of explored planets, but everything else is the frontier. Go out there and explore and face the dangers that are Star Frontiers, you know, fantastic cover. It was so cool. And yeah, once again, you're in there and you want to be those characters facing the dangers they are facing, with that starship behind them, a crashed starship burning, and the 3 characters on the cover, 2 humans and a Yazirian, guns ready. I mean, it was just so awesome. And all 3 of them are original settings. They're not based on any licensing. I feel like, you know, you cut out about half the role-playing games out there with this question, because I wouldn't say half, maybe a little less than half. The licensed role-playing games, Star Wars, etc., you know, covers, it doesn't take a whole lot to capture the essence of a licensed. All you got to do is, for Star Wars, slap a Struzen movie poster onto the cover, and you've captured the essence, because the essence has already been captured in movie posters. And, you know, Babylon 5 role-playing game, slap a picture of Babylon 5, you've got it. So there's not a whole lot of work in those. I do see that a lot of people try to do original art for those settings, for those licenses, but you know, there's nothing like just a scene from the show or a movie poster from the movie. So those immediately go away on my list, because it doesn't take much work. It's those original settings that, if you don't pick just the right art, you're going to have to probably sell it some other way. I'll give you an example. Titan's Grave. If I looked at Titan's Grave based on the cover art, probably wouldn't buy it. The cover overall. But because they did a full marketing campaign with Will Wheaton and his videos, you know, that is definitely a much better way to sell the game. So they didn't really work hard on the cover. I mean, they might have. It didn't look like they did, quite honestly, because I feel like there's better art inside the book that could have gone on the cover, but they didn't. I can't think of anything modern. I hate going back, and I know a lot of my videos are mostly about the old school 80s and 90s games, but I'll be honest with you, there's nothing out there that has blown me away. Honorable mention, another honorable mention, come to think about it, and it is, again, a 90s game, although it's been republished using the art I'm talking about. Shatterzone, old West End games, dark science fiction, and that cover, there were 3 covers, and I didn't like the other ones very much, but the one cover they used for, I think it was the Player's Handbook, it's the first art you saw, and I think they used it a lot in their marketing, was the guys running down this fire escape in battle armor, and one guy just gets blasted in half by a laser, and the other guys are firing back, and it just exemplified the dark future, the fact that they're on this old rusty fire escape with a kind of a throwback brick wall behind them, but they're in ultra fancy high-tech armor. Just really captured the essence of the game. The irony there is that I don't think any of their art was commissioned specifically for Shatterzone. Maybe the internal art, but the external, many of the covers I saw again elsewhere. So I think they were generic science fiction art that they were able to get at a decent price. So, but they picked out the right kind of art that really captured. I think that's what I liked about Shatterzone, was it was easy to envision, because it was, you know, generic enough in terms of science fiction that you could fit just about anything. At the same time, it did have its own character and essence that just grabbed me. That's about it. Until next time, seek the wolf in thyself.